Good afternoon. Just jump right into to BYU. First time ever for the Sooners to go to Utah to play, and be our earliest kickoff ever, just a little past 10 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be a quick trip, and obviously really important. We haven't played well on the road the last couple of outings, and so really working on ourselves and the things that we need to do in order to win, give ourselves a chance to win here this week. BYU plays really well at home, and they're expecting their starting quarterback back here this week, along with several other guys that have missed the last few weeks, including freshman running back L.J. Martin, and a couple of receivers that have missed the last few weeks. They play really aggressive on defense. The turnover margin has been the best in the Big 12 when they've played at home. And offensively, again, they've got good, strong running backs. Got a left tackle that will get drafted early. Again, a quarterback that in Slovis that career-wise is just south of 12,000 yards passing, and threw for 360 yards against Kansas in a really tight game. They've beaten Arkansas on the road, got after Cincinnati, beat a Texas Tech team that just a few weeks ago, they beat a Texas Tech team that went down to the wire with Oregon, got after BYU, had a great game against Kansas State, beat TCU just a couple of weeks ago, and again beat Kansas last week. So a little bit kind of like us a year ago, and just a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, and lost a couple of really tough games. But it's a place that'll be full. They create a lot of noise, and a very passionate fan base, and tremendous tradition in college football. So we expect their best. They've got a really again aggressive defense, and Tyler Batty, defensive end for them, number 92. He's really had an outstanding year. A very, very disruptive player, and starting corner from zero. He's had 4 interceptions, and like I said, they're very opportunistic at home, and going to be a really good, strong challenge. Really proud of, again, our team, the way they responded after 2 tough, disappointing losses, and played really, really well, offense and defense, and had some adversity on defense, and I liked how we responded in some tough situations. That's really kind of who they've been all season long, and tough, physical, get after defense that, when their backs are against the wall, they've responded. So we'll need to continue to have a tough-mindedness about us mentally and physically, again, going on the road this week. Dylan and Drake, obviously, they were 2 of our standouts on offense, and congratulations to Dylan for being the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Week, and also along with being the Offensive Player of the Week. And again, Drake, some of the things that he's been able to do this year for a coach's kid. Caveat leads the Big 12 in receptions and touchdown receptions as well. And again, the last couple of weeks, he leads the nation in receptions and in touchdown receptions. But again, Dylan has done outstanding all year. Total offense, 341 yards a game. Has passed for a little over 300 yards a game, 36 touchdowns, both running and throwing, and completing a little over 70% of his passes. And so, really, I don't send out a whole lot of, great jobs and fist bumps and man hugs. I usually look at the flaws and the areas that we're weak and where we need to be better. Certainly, that's who I am. But I would like to just recognize, Dylan becoming, a top 10 player in FBS history as well in several categories. That's a big deal. And I said on my radio show last night, this is a place that's represented a lot of offensive superlatives, justifiably so, in college football history. There's been a bunch of good ones, to say the least, and Dylan ranks right there alongside those guys. So Dylan will be the first one to tell you that it takes everybody, and an offense and a defense getting them the ball back, and a play caller that every once in a while puts them in a good position, and where they're able to, and then every once in a while overcoming some of the offensive play calling, just tongue in cheek there, throwing nobody under the bus or anything else, just trying to have some fun along with recognizing, some excellence that, the achievements that a couple of our players, have done in the middle of the season, and those are guys that are incredibly hungry, certainly far from satisfied, rather embarrassed when I bring it up in front of the team, and more determined now than ever to finish the right way. And that's again what, to me, what we've been able to overcome the last several months, as well as defining this team 129 by how we finish. So great challenge for us. Really excited about just the next several days here. We got a quick turnaround and a very unique short week where we have to manage all of that really well here. To be able to, playing 3 games in a little more than 12 days, managing all of that. But we do have a good competitive depth that I think will help make a difference for us as well.
Okay, we're going to start today on the left side and work our way down, Kieran.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Gosh, Brent, this is off the grid off the bat, but your profession has an element of madness to it. There were 2 coaches competed against each other over the weekend in a game. Neither had a job Monday. Mississippi State. The other guy. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Do you stop to consider the danger of what you do, the machinery, whether it's money or expectations, or is that less than 2 years in? Are the pros outweigh all of that silliness and madness?
I never have. I feel, well, and let me just say that I don't worry by nature at all. I just get really busy in the doing, but I've shown up on my job every day that I've had a job, starting from the first day I was hired as a graduate assistant at Kansas State, showing up that my job is on the line and everybody else's job's on the line based on my work, my attitude, my thoroughness. I've always had that sense of urgency, but never out of fear, just as something that I think it comes from just an appreciation for having what I have. And so I don't, I'm confident in who I am and whose I am, and I don't worry about things that I can't control.
But real quick, the other thing is, why do it, just in general?
Why do what?
Coach. What are the obvious pros that outweigh that stuff?
No, golly, this is a long list.
I know. I figured.
When you love what you do, and you're passionate about what you do, like all jobs in all professions, there's challenges, but it's all worth it. And you're making an impact. You're bringing joy. You're bringing out the best in people. You're creating lifelong habits. You're helping these young guys and coaches and staff take advantage and use the game and all the amazing transferable skills to be better human beings, to be better coaches, to be better husbands, to be better fathers, to be better competitors, to help facilitate these young guys. I got a locker room of 123 guys, and be able to be a part of helping facilitate their dreams, and that they know, and then maybe the other passions beyond the game that they don't know yet. You're helping become a vessel for them to connect, use the game to connect, and give back to the game that's been so good to all of us. So I love coaching. It's a way for me to compete with myself. And, but I love bringing out the best in people, and, but I love watching our players become grown and confident, strong men through the game.
Thanks.
Jesse?
Hey Brent, wanted to ask you about Gavin Sancho. I think guys found his footing the last few weeks. Maybe just how have you seen him maybe grow and respond to that early injury, and how important has his play the last few weeks been for the offense in terms of consistency? And things like
Well, I do think that there's something to getting in a groove, if you will. I don't know what that's like. I'm trying to get a linebacker in their groove. I'll just blitz him in the A gap and usually disrupt something. I think running back's a little bit different than that. And there's a timing aspect, there's a practice aspect, an element that's important. Getting hit and the timing and how blocks move and things of that nature. Again, you asked the question, so I'm kind of thinking through it, but I think all of that is important. And then, again, I think the players surrounding them are a big part of it too. But so battling back from, kind of a nagging injury and getting in the flow, and it's not easy because as a coach, you're trying to find out who's most ready right now in this moment, and there's one running back on the field at a time. So having some patience along the way for Gavin. He's got a great support system, amazing family, and DeMarco does a good job of holding guys accountable and letting them know. Most of the time, I think they know exactly where they stand and what maybe they need to work on. So, but good for him from a maturity standpoint and being prepared for his opportunity, and then hanging in there and getting a little bit better. The more that he's played.
Bob?
Yeah, Brent, just wanted to ask about a few freshmen. We got to see Sammy at the Cheetah, Jacoby made the pick. Those two and Lewis Carter, and what they've done on special teams the entire season, the way that they've embraced it, that's what their role is.
Yeah, and there's several others. That Peyton Bowen has been another one along with them, freshmen that have really excelled in the special teams and have done a nice job when they've gotten in. I think that's an important part of their growth and maturity. Certainly that's the challenge day one that we give the freshmen. If you want to establish yourself, you find a way to bring value to the team. In order to make the roster for a travel, an away game, you got to be able to be a dude on special teams. And so it starts with attitude, and then being a detailed guy, and then having a bad case of the wants. Man, that's what it's all about. Showing up every day with gratefulness, and because you've got very limited time. Special teams, they don't get as much time, to work on their craft. So in the small windows that you have every day, you've got to do a great job, show that you're accountable and reliable, dependable, and that you like what you're doing. That shows tremendously, in special teams, and then being coachable, just like you are at your position. So I think it really helps expedite their growth and maturity to becoming more reliable, accountable players as well. There's a direct correlation, between those. And then as coaches, like, boy, every time he gets in, look what he does. And that's what RJ did. And he did it last year. And so you want to find as many opportunities as you can to affirm guys that are really good role players. They only get 12 additional snaps, but look what they did. Look at the production. Look at the grade. Look at the, again, the work that they put on the field, the strain, and look how it affected the field position in the game. We had a short field all day. Whatever that is, you want to affirm them, both personally and then certainly in front of the team, and trying to create buy-in from everybody that way. But those guys have really shown that they're going to be excellent players, both now and in the future.
Eli?
Brent, you mentioned the coach's kids before. You were on the other side of the country in 2017, 2018, but coaches stay connected, families stay connected. What did you know about Drake Stoops, the three-star recruit?
Same
who
thing.
Came here as a walk-on.
But me and my boys, we'd always be watching them. If there was something on Twitter or something, we would share with each other. Just a baller, just always doing, the little things right. Be like, oh man, that was a nice little play he had there. Whether he's cracking somebody to set up a big run or a screen play, or making the third down catch, or making the ordinary, the extraordinary catch look ordinary. And then his ability to run after the catch is different. He bounces off of guys. He breaks a lot of tackles, he runs through trash, can make guys miss in a phone booth, and then his toughness and grit that he represents, man, that's what you want your whole program. What program doesn't want to represent that? You know, have people, players that represent that, and he's been the model of consistency on top of that. And you know, he commented, you know, in an interview about being up here 10 hours a day. He's not joking. He's working on his body. He's watching extra film. You know, he's building relationships with his teammates. He loves all of it, and he's exhausting this moment in his life. And I love that, as opposed to being hurried, you know, hurry up to get on to the next thing like everybody else tries to get you to do, to chase the bag and to be self-centered. He's like, no, college is too fun. I've got a lot of developing still to do. I can always get better. The one shot that I might have to make the NFL the best league on the planet, I'm going to be as prepared as I can possibly be. There are no mulligans. You don't get it, well, let me try this again and see if I can get drafted again or make a team again. You get one chance. So make the most of college, which, as we all know, is the most transformational time of your life. It should, through relationships, through experiences, through education, you know, it's going to be one of the most enriching times of your life, and it really help propel you for the rest of your life. So he's got wisdom beyond his years. He certainly has a great network of people that have helped him. He's not one that's shy about asking others' opinion, but he's a strong young man, and that's made a decision to be excellent at what he does and value all the opportunities that he's had. Not everybody's like that. You know, a lot of people get the opportunity, but not everybody takes advantage of it and has the kind of toughness and determination that a guy like Drake Stoops has, and he's had to overcome a lot too. One, being a coach's kid, right? He walked on, but he never was bitter about, you know, the things that he's had to overcome. And some people, he's allowed his name and his opportunity to be a blessing, as opposed to block his own blessing. You know, because I'm mad at everybody. He hadn't been that way. He's like, oh, you know, I can have an opportunity to do this. I'm gonna show you. And when it's time to compete, he loves to compete, and he don't care who it's against. But he's a great teammate, just an amazing teammate. You know, and I told him, I said, when you're done with football, when this amazing game is done, man, you're gonna have a line of people from here to Padre Island ready to hire you, because what you bring to any environment is excellence, and you'll figure it out, whatever it is. If it's coaching, if it's oil and gas, if it's you know, financials, whatever it is, you know, he's going to be really good. So just, you know, I wanted to recognize him in front of the team here recently, because I don't want to wait to the funeral to give him flowers, or the end of the banquet. You know, in the middle of it, I want guys to have an appreciation. And I hopefully, you know, you've planted a few seeds like, man, I can be like that. That's a choice. And so he's been amazing. You know, Oklahoma has been a benefactor of having Drake Stoops in that locker room. And Drake would be the first one to say that this place has been amazing to him. But I look at it the other way. Oklahoma was lucky to have a guy like Drake Stoops, you know, be a part of this program.
James.
Brent, when you talked about Jackson Arnold the other day, that you might be able to redshirt, that was a little bit of a change in plan, but talk about, you know, his
Well,
development
yeah,
this year.
and a lot of that is the course of the season and how
Yes.
things have gone, and you're always trying to be mindful of that of every player, and sometimes you can potentially, you know, do it, and then sometimes hey, that was the plan, and then there's disaster happens, and then you got to make a hard right-hand turn. And so, you know, you're always looking at plan A and plan B, and best case scenario, worst case scenario. But he's still been able to take all the, you know, the reps, just in case, you know, something unforeseen happens, and so he can stay ready. He's had tremendous growth and maturity. You know, we give him a ton of reps. We do a lot of good on good, and you know, we don't hold back. Oh, okay, well, Jackson's, let's make it easy on him. That's not what we do. We don't make it harder. We just do what we do, and it's all hard. And but he's responded. He has a wonderful attitude about all of it. You know, he sees the growth in himself, tremendous growth and maturity, both as a young person and then as a leader and as a football player. Jeff has done a great job having him in a great mindset and having him to continue to work and stay hungry and driven, and so he doesn't spend any less time here. He spends a lot of extra time staying ready and just continue to develop himself.
Just want to announce Drake Stoops was just named one of 3 finalists for the Burlsworth Trophy, Coach. Award goes to the best player who started their career as a walk-on, so just came across.
The chill bump. Anybody else have the chill bumps? Okay to admit that, right? That's cool. That's cool. Really cool. Congratulations, Drake.
Let's go to Eric.
BYU has a unique history, and as a college football fan growing up, do you remember what Coach Edwards did in introducing the passing game to college football like they did? And then also, to the second part of the question, I want to ask you about the 2009 game. What do you remember about that season opener in Arnold?
Well, yeah, I mean, Coach Edwards, obviously, he's a legend and a Hall of Famer, and he won. That's what I remember. He won a lot, and he did it with great quarterback play and a great culture. And that game is obviously it's a really good game, despite having some guys injured both before the game and during the game. Big, physical, mature football team, that you're going to have to be ready to have it strapped up. They're going to bring it. They're going to play with passion, physical toughness, mental toughness, and they're going to fight for 4 hours. And so nothing's going to come easy. That's what I remember.
Ryan?
Yeah, Brent, obviously you never want to be in those situations, but the goal line stands that y'all have been able to pull off pretty consistently. One, have you ever been a part of a team that has handled it that way as consistently as y'all have this year? And 2, is there something beyond just want to and execution of the plan that's helping y'all do that?
Well, I mean, it takes belief and toughness, and our guys have that, and an unshakable belief. I'm like, great job, guys, and I try to promote the will's got to be stronger than the skill. When you have that, you have a chance to be a great football player. We do have some skill too, but I love the toughness and the belief that I see. It's not just on the goal line. We've been a much different football team. In 2-point plays, I think we've defended one. I think 1 out of 6 have been converted on us. Another, all right, here it is, 1 play, let's go. And I love that. I think it takes the same things there. Several turnover on downs. I mean, last week had a muff punt, and again, it's still a very competitive game. And 3 plays, we stop them right there. I have been a part of a couple of teams that have had that same kind of grit and toughness and belief. And when you see it, when you don't. These guys have proven it, and that's, to me, I said, well, I know this is what we're capable of, but what are y'all willing to do? And in these moments, this is going to bring out either the best or the worst in players and teams and units. And our guys have, they've been amazing. They really have.
Okay.
Brent, this is the time of year people start looking at trying to figure out who's going to finish where in the Big 12. You guys are likely in some sort of tiebreaker scenario if you win out. What do you know of the Big 12 tiebreaker scenarios? How much are you like the rest of us trying to figure out where things fall?
I just know I'm trying to go win this week. That's it. And that's not, literally, that's where I can utilize the time that I have the best way to be, obviously everything starts and goes through me, but as the head coach, but what do we got to do to win this week? And then what is the turnaround, on a short week look by next week to get these guys ready to play against TCU, on that following Friday. Everything else takes care of itself. We put ourselves in a tough position. That's what I know. We don't control our own destiny. And but let's focus on the finish. Let's focus on this week. Let's focus on the details and the DNA of this opponent, and because you don't have unlimited time. and you got limited resources, limited time, and so that's where I'm not even asking Mike, hey, what does it look like, you know, and have him figure it out. I don't. To me, I don't care right now. I'm really not.
Is there anybody on your staff, because of, if you make the title game, it is a quick turnaround, you gotta go right back into a game week planning mode. Is there anybody on your staff that has to keep aware of that just from a planning standpoint?
Well, I mean, Jacob Maloney, you know, from an operation standpoint, he hadn't asked me nothing about it yet. He knows better. He makes me mad a lot, not really, but he knows that would really piss me off. And so I'm sure there's some logistical things that, you know, have to, obviously there are, but, you know, the only other thing is, you know, guys that, you know, there's support staff that we get down the wire, you know, going into the last week. I'm sure we'll have a plan to, you know, look at some people maybe that would, if they make it, you know, we were fortunate enough to make it, you know, next week while we're working on TCU, they would, you know, be just like every staff, you know, that's in that situation. They would do some advanced work, you know, guys that don't coach.
George?
Yeah, Brent, this time of year, the coaching carousel always starts to heat up. I'm sure you have guys on your staff that aspire to be head coaches someday or coordinators. As someone that's been through that process, what's maybe your advice to them as someone that's, you know, waiting for the right time?
Yeah,
right
there's a time for everything, you know. Be committed to where your feet are. You ask your players to do that, and you do the same. That's what I would say. You know, don't be a vagabond coach. Build something. Have you know, stand for something. You know, have some roots somewhere. Be loyal to the players and the people that gave you your opportunity. And this will be a game and a career and a profession that will honor that in the long haul. And you know, it's like you tell your team every year, you know, you got goals and you got, you know, expectations, and you try to create vision. You know, how do you get to the top of that mountain one step at a time? There ain't no shortcuts. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, everybody's different, you know. But for me, I've want to, you know, I want to go somewhere and call somewhere home. And I would think that who wouldn't want that? You know, a stable environment where you got great support, you got great players, you're in a wonderful day-to-day environment. Don't screw it up. Don't screw up happy. And even if it's for a little more money or another title, that's how I've always looked at it. So I'm not, you know, I'm not contradicting, you know, my actions, you know, for over 30 years. And so that's what you know, we're not having those conversations right now, but we talk about that a lot in the out of season. And you're talking about philosophy and values and standards and expectations. You know, that's what, you know, I would say.
Do you think you have any future head coaches
Oh,
on
sure,
staff?
without question.
Do you take that as a compliment when, I guess, part of your staff comes up in those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't spend a whole lot of time on it, you know, but I think, but it, you know, I know we have excellent coaches. That doesn't surprise me. You know, all of them have had opportunity, both while they've been here and prior to coming here. And so that wouldn't shock me about opportunities here down the road, things that you have to deal with that are part of being in this position too.
Thanks, Brent.
Second row, far right, Joe Masato.
Yeah, Brent, you've coached against BYU twice, once at K-State, once here, but correct me if I'm wrong, never coached in Provo, a game out there. With as many places as you've been, stadiums and everything, are you able to sort of kind of appreciate going to a new place and, you know, having a memory you haven't had before at a new stadium?
Yeah,
new
for
program?
sure, absolutely. And again, it's, you know, an incredibly tradition-rich program, has been for such a long time, and have one of the most loyal and passionate fan bases in all of college football. All the college football history excellence that's represented, players and coaches and wins at BYU. I've always seen the picture probably that if you like college football, you know, there's a picture of the stadium down in, you know, nestled in the mountains in the valley there, and looks pretty cool. And so it'd be fun to go compete. I got, again, incredible respect, you know, for their program and, you know, for Coach Satake and what he's been able to do, and again, the passion and the loyalty that the fan base has is second to none.
Okay, over here, far left, Barry.
Yeah, I went on the 2009 game down at Jerry World. What do you remember about that night?
Again, just the physicality, the maturity of the team, the size, certainly the injury, the toughness that our players fought with, both teams fought with. I think it was a 1 point game?
Yeah.
14-30.
And, you know, literally a game of inches. And, but I remember our team didn't flinch, you know, when we lost, that was pretty devastating. And our guys responded. We had, I think, 3 losses that year by 1 point. We went to Miami and lost 21-20. Somebody else maybe in that season, but kind of started the season off in a rough way. But man, it was one of my favorite years in coaching. And again, it's one of those seasons where it was all about what we had to overcome. And we didn't win a quote-unquote championship, but I think we beat Stanford in the bowl game that year with Toby Gerhardt. I think their quarterback was out. And but you know, that was kind of a year where it was just, you had to overcome a lot. And but our guys fought. You know, that's what I remember about that team. And they had fun fighting. You know, we grew in 2 different ways to look at it. You know, man goes behind bars, and some see mud and some see the stars. It's, you know, to me, it's a choice. And circumstances, you can't change them, but your perspective can. I remember that year just being a year where we had to overcome a lot and just we had a lot of fun, you know, building that team and developing an identity.
Okay, stay over here, John Hoover.
Yeah, Brent, I wanted to ask a follow-up on Jackson, kind of a 2-part question. Knowing that next year's team is going to be playing in the SEC, right? What's been the level of interest in getting him prepared for that kind of action? And then looking back on the 4 games that he has played, where he was a short yardage quarterback for 3 of those, I think. Is there any second guessing on that? Like you wish you would run the full package with him or anything like that?
I don't think we have any regret, and I don't think we do anything different to develop him. I think you have a process in how you develop and coach and bring him along, help him mature, and everything again has its time. You know, we're not good enough to look ahead like that. You know, so he's got to be prepared each and every week to play the schedule that we have right now, you know, because he still is our backup quarterback.
Curtis and Patrick.
Yeah, Brent, kind of follow up on the quarterback spot, and you bragged, rightfully so, on Dylan at the beginning of the press conference. Is there any scenario where Dylan comes back next year for you?
I mean, I don't know. We haven't had those conversations. He's played a long time. He's been through a lot, and I think a year ago maybe the talk was, you know, he had a good year. You know, why would you want to come back? You know, you could come back and have a bad year, but what's he done? You know, he's come back and had an even better year. But I don't know. He's played a lot of football, a lot of college football, and he's, like I said, he's had to overcome some injuries, lots of different types of ailments and injuries. We haven't talked about that though.
Okay, third row on the right, Cliff Brent.
Yeah, so, Coach, one of the most significant parts of BYU's home field advantage is the fact that the stadium is 4,600 feet above sea level. Is there anything that you can do to prepare for that, or does that change anything that you do?
I mean, it's going to be cooler when we play, and our biggest thing is making sure that we get these guys physically and mentally in the right place. On a week, you're going to fly for 3 hours, and we're going to be in a different altitude with drier, so making sure that we do a great job for my hydration, sleep, nutrition, taking care of their legs here this week, things of that nature. That's where really our focus has been.
Okay, far right, Kerry Murdoch.
Brent, there's kind of a growing unrest in the fan base that maybe you guys aren't getting any calls or they're not calling games correctly because you guys are leaving the conference. I'm curious, you worry about that filtering into your players at all? Do you address that with them about, you gotta expect maybe the calls aren't gonna be made against you?
No, I don't, I say I don't believe in conspiracies. That's what I tell them. I'm not gonna give them an excuse. I'm not gonna let anybody else give them excuses either. So the opportunity that I have around them, my challenge is to not put it in anybody else's hands. Play clean, do the little things right. Sometimes it's gonna go for you, sometimes it's not. Keep playing, keep fighting, keep working, keep believing, don't get distracted. So we can't live in that world and be our best.
But you have, the other night, you have the crowd chanting SEC, you have the skirmish in the end zone. Did you feel like any of that led to it?
I don't know. I think the game the other night was a very intense and passionate, physical football game, and I think that's, play on the field got everybody fired up, and but the players were just going at it, just competing.
Appreciate it. That's everything, Coach. Thank you.
Okay, all right,
Thanks,
y'all have a good
Thanks,
day.
Brian.
Appreciate